Hi, this is Tad Baker, the director and Master of Ceremonies for the Loon Show in San Francisco. I'd like to give you a little background on the recordings you're about to hear. In the summer of 1991, I had the good fortune to be able to sit down with Demetrius Toteras and record his thoughts on what he called the virtues and vices of modern man. Our discussions took place at his home in Sonoma County and in San Francisco, and you'll hear not only my voice, but the voice of the journalist Cindy Franks, along with my 1-year-old son Priam and his cousin Nikolai. I had known Toteras since meeting him many years ago, and falling under his powerful influence, becoming his principal student and admirer, and together we brought true absurdity to the stages of San Francisco like few had ever seen before. While Toteras was perhaps the most outrageous, if unrecognized, experimental theater director of the 20th century, he clearly was also one of the most well-read and articulate philosophical minds of his era, with an amazing catalog of provocative and compelling thoughts that I knew very few people had ever heard. Thus, I was eager to record him in his prime as he discussed the current existential state of the modern male, a project which he did not disappoint. Our conversations were always casual and informal, a couple friends just picking up where we last left off, and the talk would be fueled by copious amounts of Northern California indica, which he dearly loved. I would arrive for each session with no real idea what he wanted to talk about other than the general theme of the ineptitude of modern men, but, as usual, the moment I would turn on the recording machine and fire up a joint, Toteras would immediately launch into that day's particular themes, ranging far and wide as he digressed, but with an uncanny ability to bring himself back to his main point with an ease and fluidity I found remarkable. The recordings began in July and were abruptly ended in early September with the death of his mother. He had long been laboring under her impending demise, and once she had gone, I think his drive and desire to produce work took a necessary backseat to his grieving. Unfortunately for the world, we would never return to the recordings, as within a few months of her passing, we had gone our separate ways. I had long felt, however, that these sessions with the Master, as he was known to us, and incomplete as they may be, were yet priceless for their quality, originality, and depth, and one day I would edit and bring them forward for the many people I knew would benefit from hearing them. Sitting at his feet all those years changed my life in immeasurable ways, and I am hopeful these recordings bear justice to his genius and touch you as well, for I hope you get as much out of listening to them as I have in recording and now producing them. I do advise the ingestion of strong marijuana as you listen to these recordings, though that, of course, is a matter of personal choice. And there is no set, linear order to what you will hear, just the wandering observations, insights, and intuitions of one of the most profound and important minds of our era. Herein, then, in his own words, is the Master, Demetrius Toteras.
See, women are afraid of being caught. They're afraid of being caught. They'll fuck like hell on you, man, but they're afraid of being caught. And they create a whole system of bullshit so they won't get caught.
Don't men feel the same way?
Of what?
About being caught?
You know, it's funny, but men usually do get caught because they are just so fucking out front, you know? They are.
They lack the subtlety of the woman?
Oh, by far, man. And a woman can catch a guy she's fucking around, because if he's fucking his girlfriend like hell, it's pretty hard to make love to two women. It really is. One suffers for the other, you know? Yeah. Oh, you could fuck them all right because the excitement of the whole thing, the erotic flavor of it, you know? But to make love to them, it's goddamn near impossible. You get oversensitized, you know? Overly exposed. And, unless the women are so diametrically opposed to each other, you know, they're similar. You know, they open up their legs, they grunt, they move, they jump, they do all this. I mean, they're similar, man, you know. But a woman, she could fuck 40 guys in one night.
She just opens her legs.
And the majority of the fucking women don't have any response when they're fucking at all anyway. You know? I mean, I think if you were to take, I don't know, I mean, I'm not an expert on this, but just seeing from the amount of work that's out there, telling them how to sound good or you know, make like you're being fucked good or something like that, it sounds like all of them are just absolutely silent when they fuck. You know, they that kind of crap, you know, there's nothing that goes along with the fucking, you know what I mean? And for a civilized man, human beings that are more advanced in their outlook toward life and their views toward life require more than just, you know, the shimmer and shake of an ass.
That's right.
It requires something that teases the mind, that creates the erotic fantasy to high level. So really, when you think of it, I don't know why man should even be bothering to want to fuck a woman, you know? I'm serious when I say that. I've gone along with women great because I don't give a fuck if I ever see them again. I don't care, man. I don't care if they come, if they go.
Aren't you affected by the smells, the scents, the shapes of women? I mean...
Oh, I'm not. I mean, if the woman attracts my eye...
Right.
I'm not crazy.
When I was young, some women attracted my eye, but I was too busy doing something, you know what I mean, to let my eyes wander too much. And then when I did, and they attracted my fucking eye, it just, you know, passing, that's nice, like a statue, you know, something like that. What attracted me mostly to a woman was her demeanor. See, the things that I was doing, I didn't need a woman. I only needed somebody to cook for me, shop for me, take care of the bills, and I did the rest, you know. Make my bed. Do that. I needed a housekeeper, a good one. That's what I want. I don't want a wife, a fucking girlfriend, or whatever. You know? I want a good housekeeper, like I Sherlock Holmes had. Good housekeeper, man. One to take care of you. Like Bibi. Bibi was a good housekeeper, man. And then she got no good. She got no good. She was no good for me. And in the same respect, it wasn't good for her.
Yeah, right.
She wasn't good for me. Definitely wasn't good for her. Right? She had to go, man. It's a question of when and at what cost. You follow?
Absolutely.
There's no if, buts, or maybes about it. There's no talking about it. Can we get along? Do we go to the counselor so we can save our memories? What's he gonna say? A fucking stranger that you picked out of a telephone book?
Exactly.
He's gonna tell you how to live?
He's gonna give you some fucking formulas and expect you to go live those formulas.
Oh yeah, it's a bunch of bullshit. And I think when women realize that maybe men... See, somewhere along the line, women said that if we get... if we want equality in law and we want equality in economics, right? We want this equality. And man went along and he said, yeah, because Johnny husband wants his wife to make more money so he can survive. I mean, me having a wife, I want her to... So, in the working class of people, everybody wanted his wife to have equal pay.
Sure.
The people who didn't want the woman to have equal pay are the capitalistic entrepreneurs who'd rather use women, black men, and children as second-rate people who work cheaper. That's all. It wasn't the average man who didn't want to see the woman. The average man wouldn't mind the woman have a lot of bucks in her pocket so she could take him out. Because the difference between a man and a woman is when a woman falls for a guy, she loses it all. Everything she loses. She loses her shame, her dignity, her family. You can see it in the classics.
Yes.
What do you think? Medea was angry because she betrayed her own people for that asshole. So you see who the jerk is. The jerk is the man. The jerk is not the woman. The jerk is the man. The things he demands from a woman. The things he wants from her. He wants his total identity from her. He wants this, he wants that. And if she doesn't come across with it, well, he's been hurt, he's been this, he's been that.
Sounds like Jason in Medea, man. Exactly.
That's right, that's what it is. So she had to slice off a few heads of their children in order for him to realize that, hey, you know, maybe she means what she's saying, right? No, the women are all there. It's the men in relationship to the women that aren't all there.
Right.
And now that the woman has been, you know, like in Rome, she was very much liberated in Rome. very much liberated. By the time of Cassius the Elder, you know, the woman had reached the high point of liberation in Rome. She was the boss, man. And at one time, the Romans venerated their mothers, you know. They have absolutely venerated their mother. As a matter of fact, they said that it wasn't Caesar that was running the place, it was his mother.
Is that right?
Oh, yeah. They venerated the mother. They venerated the mother. Then why didn't the mother teach them to venerate all women? I mean, why did
Well, that's an interesting question.
Yeah, why did the mother sucks, he sucks the tits of the mother. He loves his mother. He does all this. How come the mother didn't teach him then to venerate all women? Because the mother told him to beware of the women, so he wouldn't be scandalized. To beware of the woman.
The mother actually showed the true nature.
To beware of the woman, not to hate her, not to despise her, but to know where you're at all the fucking time.
There you go.
Not knowing where you're at just part of the time, but knowing where you're at all the time. These guys didn't study out.
Yeah.
Go. They can't come back here, keep taking katas and learning a little this and learning a lot. I won't do that. Because they'll go somewhere else and they say, oh, I learned this from him. And they didn't learn that from me. They picked it up from me, went home and did what they wanted with it, and then turn around and say that I am the one that taught them. No. For them to be, they have to be like that guy says up there. You got to be that, or that don't happen.
Right.
It's simple as that, man. You understand what I'm saying? That's the way all of it has to be.
That's right. Total.
Yeah, that's the way it has to be with the old lady that you have. Anybody's old lady. They want to drift off. Hey, that's fine as long as I know about it, as long as I can say yes or no about it, as long as I accept it.
But isn't there something like that, keeping a duplicitous thing together, that adds to the excitement of the betrayal?
It could, absolutely. Oh, it could. It could bring some slicing edges into your life, you know.
Yeah, but like it seems to me like nobody today is honest enough to admit to each other that, hey, I'm about to have an affair. I've met somebody. And this is what's happening.
Everybody today needs an affair. You understand? Because everybody has been shortchanged. They're all insecure. 99% of the people in their 40s right now, when they were growing up, mom was out fucking. Or mom was out golfing. Or mom was out bowling. Or mom was out working. Mom was out doing something other than being home. And pop was gone too. So the kid actually grew up by itself, very insecure. The people today are totally insecure. They don't have any aspects of love in them. They can't. They haven't been taught how. You see?
Absolutely.
And now the generation, let's say now, my kids' generation is raising the young people now, right? So I spent my life running, hiding, trying to, all this kind of shit, being exasperated. So my kids, part of this neuroses, right? This fucking looking and searching, and the beatnik and the hippie periods, you know, all got kids. The kids are growing up. The kids are now part of that civilization, you know, part of that movement that's going on there. And of course they're all going to go have affairs because nobody knows who in the hell they are. There's not a goddamn person out there. How could you possibly know who in the hell you are? You go from one school to the other and you finally finish a college. You can't get anywhere without at least having a BA degree, and you go out and get a job and become a bootlicker and a suck-ass for the rest of your goddamn life. You're too goddamn scared to find out who you are, what you want. You don't want anything. What you want is your name on that door. That's all you want. And with it goes a Mercedes-Benz, a credit card. I ran across a friend of mine when they were building I worked with the guy. And they were building the Embarcadero 1. He was superintendent on the job, you know. And one of the superintendents, they got a lot of. I said, how's the pay? He said, well, the pay's good. I said, that was what? That was 10 years ago, 12 years ago, something like that. The pay's good, he said, you know. He said, but what's better is this. And he whips out this wallet and he flips it open, and from his hand to the floor was credit cards. He said, everything is free, pal. Wow. He said, everything's on these cards. He said, I don't buy a car. He said, I rent a car. I don't do this, I do that with this. He says, I want a vacation, I go to Acapulco. He said, whenever I want anything, I just do this. Why was the boss so good? Because that was part of the expense of the job. The fucking boss didn't pay nothing.
Exactly.
Uncle Sam paid for it.
Uncle Sam paid for everything.
Yeah,
That's shit.
That's right, my man.
That's where it's at.
That's exactly where it's at. Everybody today is fucked up. How do I know this? Do I have a crystal ball to tell you? No, I just look in the telephone ads and I see, like, for this area over here, there's 375 marriage counselors. Yeah, MFCCs. 375 for a population of what? Population of this area being, 70,000? 70,000 people, you know? You say that's one in so many. But that's not all. There's other kinds, too. There's psychiatrists, there's...
Religion.
Oh, yeah. So, I mean, you know, it's just not them taking the brunt of the bull.
Right.
So everybody is fucked up. Everybody is screwed up. Everybody needs an affair because that woman says, oh, wow, I love the way you dance. Oh, do you? And, you know, he puffs. He, you know, preens himself like a goonie bird does.
Yes.
You know, he walks around. Or she said, Jesus, I like the way you did that. Or I like the way you drive. I like the way you handle yourself. This jerk that I was with, Willie's old man. Billy's old man. He called me up, you know.
Billy? Is that right?
Yeah.
He's been snooping around.
Yeah, he called me up, and I told him, I said, I want to see you, man. He said, oh, I'm around the area. He said, I'd like to come up and visit. So I told him what's going on. You know, my mother's sick, and BB ain't here no more. I said, and she's the last, I said, to go, man, you know. She hung on the longest, I said, Billy. She hung on longer than you did. And I said, but I found her in duplicitous acts. I said, just like you. And I said, she had to go, too. I said, I thought getting your ass out of here, I told him, would tell her something, but it didn't. Yeah, I said, nice hearing from you, Billy. I said, I hope I don't hear from you again.
Wow.
Yeah, that's exactly what I told him. He said, I'm down here in Petaluma. He said, I'm here to listen to my grandmother, to hear my grandmother. I went to talk to my grandmother. He said, I thought I'd be dropping up there. He said later on. I said, oh, don't bother, man. I said, call me up now and then, let me know how you are. I said, but I don't want you around in my house. No. Why? Because the guy don't know how to conduct himself. It's not that he's not a nice kid.
That's right. His conduct is poor. His conduct is subject.
Yeah. Man. So I mean, you know, that's part of today's man. You know, Billy's part of today's man. I mean, his father's a scallywag of the first order, and his mother ain't all there. You know, she's been married 4 or 5 times. You know.
He wears a number of hats depending upon the conditions or the situations. You know.
Oh,
holds allegiance only to him. Yeah, right.
He always he doesn't mind knifing or slandering or what have you not, or packing information, you know.
But nobody's got any friends. They've got 1 or 2 people that they associate with, but they hold no allegiance to even them.
They don't deserve any friends because they can't have any friends. They shouldn't have any friends because they wouldn't know what to do with friends. They shouldn't have any friends. The majority of people shouldn't have a friend. They should have a nobody. They should give people the break of not even associating with anybody because they have nothing to offer them. If you have no sensitivities about you, what the fuck is there to offer anyway? Is there anything to offer anybody? Nothing. You have nothing to offer. What a waste of time, man. Most you can give is give somebody a big problem. Like most of these goddamn women now, you know, they're great, they're fine, they're advocating for whatever it is they're advocating. But the problem is there's still that biological, that's there. I mean, a woman makes herself attractive. You go to the shopping market, and all the counters there are filled with magazines of these sultry, lip-pouting. Matter of fact, now the women are getting their lips pouted by taking injections in their lips.
Silicone into the lips.
Oh, yeah, so they could pout a little bit more to make them look, a little more sexy. And who are they going to attract in their sexiness? Another woman or another man or maybe a dog? I mean, in other words, they're attracting somebody to do something with.
Exactly.
And what is that something with? It's some type of eros, some kind of sexual thing. So you see, no matter what their arguments, their philosophical arguments are, down at the bottom line, at the baseline, it's purely sex.
Exactly.
Man, and nothing more. There's nothing more. I mean, man and woman aren't working together. They're competing. They're competing for the same goddamn job, man. They're competing for the same kind of airways. They're competing with each other.
You say that in your piece, that betrayal is a competition between men and women. Mm-hmm. To see who can out-betray the other?
Outdo anything of the other. Wow, you have a girlfriend and she goes and finds 2 boyfriends. I have to know other people. They help develop my... You know how many times I've heard this? This isn't shit that I'm coming out of my head. It's stuff I've heard. Women telling their old men or their lovers over there, I don't want to be locked in.
Yeah.
I don't want to be boxed in.
I heard it myself.
I don't want to be tied in. I want to grow. I want to experience. I want to get to know. I want, you know. So fucking to the point where you start getting, I want. What do you mean you want? I mean, well, how much do you want? I mean, what is it that you want? What can you give for all this wanting?
Right, you got to pay for all these wants, right?
Yeah, man.
But it seems like the modern woman, probably the modern man, has nothing to offer. I mean,
no, he doesn't have
totally
anything
selfish.
to offer. He has nothing to offer at all. He couldn't give you the right time of day. No, he has nothing to offer, and it's a shame too, you know, because they're all body now and nothing else. If they were to spend one half of their time on something other than perfecting their body, I don't know why they're perfecting their body. For what? I mean, they're perfecting the external form of their body.
Right.
They should get good and fat and sloppy. What? They're just as many skinny men who die of heart attacks as they are fat ones. I was talking to a guy in the hospital yesterday. I spent a lot of time in the hospital yesterday. I was talking to the guy, and they were going to fucking make an operation on his arteries, the cortoid artery here. And he said he had triple bypasses, he had this, he had that. And the guy was as skinny as a fucking rail. And I said, Jesus God. I said, you know, all that shit, you think... he says, man, I manufacture cholesterol. He says, I manufacture it.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, he says he manufactures it. You don't have to be fat. You don't have to be skinny. You don't have to be anything. You just... things are what they are, God damn it.
Right.
The cards are dealt out. You should die. Right? Now they're going to fuck... He had a triple bypass a few years ago, and now he's going to have this, and now he says there's two other of his arteries are closing up.
He's trying for technological immortality, isn't he?
Yeah, right. Yeah. He was in his 60s.
60s is young nowadays.
Oh, yeah, sure it is, man. Oh, sure it is. No, nowadays, where 60s was old in the old days is because people died of overwork, man.
Mm.
In my father's time, they worked 7 days a week, 12 hours a day, 12 to 14 hours a day. And then they used to give him half a day off on Sunday sometimes, you know. And he had to go in the afternoon, go to work. Oh, yeah, they fucking worked their ass off. Carpenters had to fucking put in the fucking day 20, 30 pounds of nails. Carpenters, you could see a carpenter's hands in them days. It was all arthritic by the time he was 30 years old.
Oh, man.
Oh, yeah, they don't do that anymore. With a 32-ounce hammer.
Jesus.
Big fucking
Christ.
hell, yeah, man, just like that. You know, all day long, and their fucking elbows were like that. You know, you get all waterlogged. Poor people. Oh, you got no idea. They fucking... People be standing out there saying, I can do it better than him. If you were 30 years old, a guy out there 20, you know, 10 years on that kind of work is a big difference. At your age, in the old days, during my father's time, you were already worn out, man, from work. And right now, you're a young pussy running around trying to figure out what to do with your life.
Exactly. Yeah.
But in that time of my father's, you were dead from work. And they, I gotta tell you a story. You're not gonna fucking believe this, but talk about creeps, right? I was with BB, and we were in Rhodes. BB's young, nice looking, long, blonde hair down to here, you know what I mean? I guess she had a lascivious look about her, you know, enough for... And I was in Rhodes, and there was these two cretins there. Big boots. And I was trying to get a ride to the other end of the island. And they told me, they said, I said, what? We started talking, you know, in Greek. And they said, where are you from? I said, Corfu. And they said, the lady? I said, she's with me. She's an American woman? Yes. They thought, you know, I was with her being Greek, and I was with her. They didn't know I came from the States.
Ah, I see.
And she's from the States, and she's from my neighborhood, and we're together, you know.
Yeah, I get you.
So anyway, they wanted to give us a ride to Lindos, you know, to the other end of Rhodes. Rhodes is a big island, man. You know the Colossus of Rhodes?
Yeah.
That's where it's at, the island of Rhodes. And we go out there, and they stopped, and one guy said to her, let us take a walk by the olive trees. Told her. Baby said, she said, tell him I'm not going anywhere. I says, the lady said, I'm telling you in Greek, the lady says she's not going anywhere. The other guy that was with me told me, we'll tell you what we're going to do and where we will have our picnics at.
Oh, wow.
Look at the bread and I'll tell you the rest of the story.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, right, man. Fucking crazy cretin.
So these guys want to take a walk to the olive orchard, huh?
Yeah, right. They were going to go for a picnic in the olive orchard with Bibi, man. You know?
Ooh, wow.
But they, Cretans are like that. You don't get the other Greeks like that. Cretans have that. They're rapists, bastards.
They were going to take and cut your throat out and...
More than likely.
How'd you get out of there?
I beat the shit out of them.
Did you really?
Yeah. I have to, man. No, there was no if, buts, or maybes about it. And I hit one guy in the fucking throat, man. I bet his throat still hurts.
Oof.
Yeah, I did. He just barfed his brains out.
Did you let them come at you?
I hit him so fucking hard. Yeah, he grabbed me. Oh yeah, he grabbed me, and I just spun around and hit him with the spin, and it just spun right into his Adam's apple, and he just fell just like that, man. Oh yeah, he was the one. The other one was going to take Bibi out there, and the other one with his fucking knife, and as he was bending out to take his knife, I kicked him right in the face.
Oof.
Yeah, he rolled over, man, and just boom. But I had to, man. There was no.
Yeah, right.
There was no if, buts, or maybes
Right.
about it. And matter of fact, I took his car, the car that they were with, and I just drove it to the next fucking town, man, and just left it there and just took off.
Yeah.
I took the bus to Lindos, which is on the other side of the fucking island. I tell you the truth, I don't know what happened to them. I don't know if that guy, I killed him or I didn't kill him. I hit him right in the fucking throat, with a shot.
Wow. Yeah, but you had to, right?
The point that I'm raising is that that view of woman in that part of the world, as opposed to, that's the point that I'm trying to make.
I see.
That point of view toward women.
Which is not the American point of view.
Oh no, man. No, it's not. The American, to say the American is probably one of the most considerate of all husbands in the fucking world.
Oh yes, man.
Oh, he is. He's an absolute lamb. I think the American woman is a damn fool not realizing this, that he's really docile. He's very considerate. He's very protective. He's economically protective of her. You don't see this anywhere, a man opening up the door for a woman, This is, are you joking, man? That's bullshit. If you're in an upper class, a servant opens up the door for both of you. If you're in the lower class, the woman's walking behind the guy somewhere, So, I mean, she's never there anyway to... for the door to be open. This is only this is American chivalry.
Yeah, American chivalry.
Oh, yeah. Getting up for a woman to sit down, Most parts of the world, the women stay standing so the men can sit. And see, the American woman feels like she's been betrayed, that she's been sold down the fucking river, that she's been this, she's been that, and she's been everything. But in the same respect, I agree with her, she's been betrayed in certain respects, I think the American male wanted a little too much from her that she could give. She couldn't give that because the male and the female of any society are the same people. It's just that one's female and the other one is male. The males is like, you have married out of your emotional class. You're not in the same emotional world. You don't even know how to deal with these kind of emotions.
Right.
You got a Greek or a Portuguese or an Italian or something, they could deal with that stuff, man, right now. Well, he would have beat her and kicked her long before that happened, and he would have went out and fucked him another woman and come home and brought the other woman there and screwed her there and then beat the other one up, That's what goes on, man. But the American woman doesn't give the American male any more than the American male gives the what the American male and the American female are talking about is that they're not warm to each other. They've learned how to be cold to each other. They've learned how to be very detached from each other. They've learned how to hide their feelings from each other.
Right.
And now they're going to counselors and what have you not to mediate the feelings in between each other. So they're both just as guilty as the other one is. I mean, the American woman uses arguments developed by men to argue against men's indiscretions or subjugations or what have you not. They're using the same philosophical systems that were used by men to describe whatever, or to describe women. The women are turning around now using the same arguments to describe them.
Jesus.
Oh yeah, that's what's going on. I mean, you look carefully at all the arguments that were raised by women in the, not to pick any one specific argument now, but the arguments that were raised in the 70s, you know, that all these arguments, the subjugation of women comes because men were scared of women, so they subjugated them. You know, I mean, crap arguments. You know, that just been put together by the thought wheel. You know, whatever came up, they argued. Why did they do this? How did it affect the average woman in the streets and what have you not? It's a trickle-down thing. You know, eventually it affects a woman in the streets, in the fact of before she's married, certain things happen. After she's married, if she wants to get on, she's going to have to go out and go to work. What happens when she goes to work? She's bored, man. She's tired. She's all that. She wants somebody to pick her up, to feel good about her. Well, the lover's always attentive. You know, with the lover, the actual mating scenes that take place between male and female are just the same as the ones giraffes do, or pelicans do, or robins do, or dogs do. I mean, it is a courting thing that takes place between male and female in all the mammals, man. I mean, even... Why is he going fucking slow? Look him. What's he wrong? So you follow what I'm saying?
Yeah. That whole thing that they put so much energy into is just, the biological thing.
Yeah, there's nothing mental about the whole fucking thing. Mentally, both of them have gone to the same schools.
Well, why does Johnny and Sarah want to get slim so they can fuck each other, right? That's why they're spending all the bucks to glean their bodies of everything excess.
Yeah, the body that slithers and oils up and fucks. Yeah. You know, there's nothing that they do for their heads. You don't see them doing anything for their heads. Oh, I know they've gone to college and they've taken their fair amount of anthropology and psychology and sociology courses, and he's now a working accountant for W.W. Smith and Wyson and who have you not, you know. And, you know, there's usually... I asked my friend, he's got the accounting firm, I said, why did you put that many names on? He said, well, that's for the trade. People think it's good, you know what I mean? Yeah, right. He stayed with me, Weinsweg, for a couple of years, but he failed. Yeah, money lured him. Money lured him. I told him, you can't have both, man. You can't have loot and have this. With this, you have to be free. With loot, you're always scared that the people who gave you the loot will take it back.
Right. You're constantly licking boot.
Yeah, you're constantly sucking ass. Somebody's That's the thing. It's all right to work. It's bad if you get dependent on your work. See, once you're dependent on it, you're in fucking trouble, man. Bad trouble.
You mean dependent on it for the money that comes, or for identification?
For your life. Yeah. For your life. For your life. You have a family. All of a sudden, you've been working for Mr. Brown for the last 7-8 years. He was very happy you got married. Told you, glad to see you getting married, becoming more responsible. Emphasis on the more. He sees you and he says, "Remember the time when you got married? I was glad for you because I thought you were becoming more responsible." And he leaves it at that. Doesn't want to push too hard. It lets you think about it, you know. So you think, what does he mean by that? Jesus, wonder if he lays me off. Wonder if I'm not doing good enough. I got this house, my wife, I got 2 kids. What am I going to do? You can't sleep that night. You can't sleep the next day. You have a couple of drinks to cool you down. I wonder if I'm doing that. Pretty soon you're scared to make a decision because you're scared you might make the wrong one. And he already told you that you were on notice, man. That's what I'm talking about.
That's right.
That's what I'm talking about. You can't never be anything you want to be. You can't even talk and say the things you want to say. How are you going to be close to your wife? How are you going to be close to your wife when all day long you've been licking somebody's ass? I mean, you come home to kiss her and you got the smell of shit on your face. How are you going to handle that? Right? She says, "What's that brown around your nose?"
But that's what she's saying, isn't it? That I'm going out tonight to my aerobics class, or I'm going out with the girls because you do have shit in your face and you're boring.
Yeah, she's out to meet someone like me. She comes out to meet somebody like me, who I'll tell her to go fuck herself. Go fuck you, fucking hag. Go back to your husband. Let him fuck you, man. I don't fuck old women like you, all fucking married women. How to deal with denials, how to deal with betrayals, how to deal with all that kind of shit. That's what we want to know. These things are going to happen.
Yes.
It's how to deal with them.
You're saying that you can't guard yourself from them taking place?
No, you can never be around a woman then. Do you really think, that you'll be with your wife for 20 years and she's not had some man?
I guess in my myopic naivete, I am hopeful.
Imposible. Imposible. 30 years ago, maybe. That's what the revolution's about. The women's revolution is to be able to do that and not to be condemned for it.
And not to be condemned.
Yeah.
Beaten up, yeah.
Now, you have two choices. One, the choice that the mule has when it's whipped on its ass, it doesn't know the hand that hit it. And, or the one where I want to know everything. Because it might be that the man you're fucking is my competitor. It might be that the man you're fucking takes a dislike to me. It might be that the man you're doing something with becomes a danger to me.
Yeah, right, an actual danger. As opposed to a lover in love, a rival in love, a rival for my life, man. The guy may kill me.
Oh yeah, rival in love, that's the most dangerous kind of creature to know. Let's say that I was in love with BB, and that fucking Mexican did that, and I know it all about him. What do you think I would do?
You go kill him.
Oh, absolutely, with a fucking baseball bat, man. I wouldn't use my arms or my legs or nothing. With a fucking baseball bat, I would do a kata on him with a baseball bat. I would do a fucking, maybe a 96 move kata on him with a baseball bat. In 30 seconds, 96 moves. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, but you weren't in love.
Nor, if I was, I think I personally would do that. I don't think I'd kill somebody.
But look at like Salcido. His wife was out there sniffing other guys, and he just came in and said that's it. He ended the whole scene. Guys do that all the time.
Oh yeah.
You know, that's the thing I don't think the women's movement recognizes is that men are somehow.
Well, see, like a lot of the pieces are, in jealousies and madness. The guys are mad.
Right.
A bookstore is fine, but usually what you have in a bookstore is a finished piece of work that purports a certain theory, right? And the theory is, you're not reading the masters. You're reading some joker who's synthesized a lot of masters and come up with an idea. Well, that's fine, but you can't appreciate that guy's idea unless you read the sources that he's coming from. Then you could say, how the fuck did he extrapolate Darwin to sound with who? Well, let me think of a good whatchamacallit that went. I can't remember his name right now. Darwin and LaPage. Can't remember. But they put together a work together on human expressions. Well, why, how did these two people get together? Like a lot of the things that woman Paglia was saying, some of that stuff I saw how she put together.
Sure.
A lot of that stuff I said, geez, how did she put that together? I mean, how does she extrapolate that out of that?
Huh.
Well,
that's an appreciation for her work then.
Yeah. Oh, sure. Oh, yeah.
It's an honest one.
But I'm not being fooled by, the conclusions of her work.
Right.
I mean, I see it, just pulling hair out of her asshole.
Right.
She's doing no more than I'm doing, or I'm doing no more than she's doing.
Mm.
I mean, we're just imaginatively putting things together pataphysically. Just take a position and see how it sounds.
That's right. Take a position and see how it sounds.
Huh?
That's what's needed right now. It's what's called for to our play right now, man. We must take a position, see how it sounds, and adapt accordingly.
Yeah, this is what we're in, because the area of detection has in it a lot of feelings. Now all them areas have feelings in them. Now there's a difference between emotions and feelings, isn't that true?
Mm. Feelings is the intellectual part of something, and the emotions is that thing that just takes you away.
That's there. That's there, man. Like, what did Darwin ask when he wrote that letter? He said, "How many? Do you know if astonishment is the opening of the eyes and the raising of the eyebrows?"
Hmm.
He wrote a letter, to, I don't know, 46 fucking people around the world, in different parts of the world, and he asked them a question. And see, like Darwin felt that expressions were biological. And other people feel that expressions are sociological, cultural. And so he sent this famous letter, his famous inquiry on the expressions of man, And he asked the following question: does man raise his eyebrows and open up his eyes wide when he's astonished or astounded, when he's awed? And he found out that yes, that all people do that. Right?
Uh-huh.
So he felt very strongly that expressions were a biological trait.
Oh, fascinating.
So emotions were biological as opposed to cultural. Where a lot of the schools are saying for a long period through the 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, and halfway through the 60s.
That's what all those behaviorist schools are saying.
What?
That it comes from the culture.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, behavioristic schools. Yeah, it's a culturally transmitted thing.
Exactly.
Where emotions seem to be, emotions being the basic fucking thing, man. The basic. The kernel, the ousia. The emotion is the ousia. The feelings are when it starts moving out into its expressive part, when it starts getting involved with restrictions, inhibitions. So when we're dealing with people's feelings, we're dealing not only with the psychological human being, but we're dealing also with the anthropological human being, with the sociological human being. We're dealing with a multitude of fucking things, man. We're dealing with Homo civilis, not Homo sapien, man. Homo civilis. People in cities. What I want to do is I want to be able to read the piece to you so there's a sense of coherency in the piece. All right? And I want to be able to do the piece so when somebody hears me and reads me, they can hear my voice and they can see my words. But they can see that the words that are on paper come alive in the tones of my voice.
Oh, I understand.
You understand what I'm saying? And what I want to work on is, I want to work on the three avoidances. I want to work on the conception. The Virgin Mother had a conception, the Immaculate Conception. It's when a woman becomes pregnant that the word conception is. Conception meaning a woman being pregnant. Now, if she's pregnant with her husband, that seems to be fine in the society and also in its historical perspective. It's when the woman conceives with an unknown lover, someone who's leaving, the child now will become the responsibility of the group without the father being there. This is psychologically bad for the child. Now, in the past, they weren't aware of psychology as much as we are today. And we know that psychology really means that something has touched your emotional world as opposed to just your feelings, right? So you see, the problem of conception is extremely deep. And not only is it deep, but it's extremely narrow. It has to do with specific people. And then, gradually, the whole society feels it. Because if you have a society of multitude of bastards, you have a society that don't know. The society composed of these bastards don't have any idea of how they're supposed to act. One has to have an idea of how he's supposed to act amongst people.
Right.
No matter if you consider it to be stupid or not. Like if you go to a good dinner with white tablecloth, I try to avoid because I don't know how to use the tools of a dinner. I like to have a knife, a fork, and a spoon, not 4 different kinds of forks and 5 different kinds of spoons, because I don't know which one's which. And it confuses me. I don't want to memorize them. I don't want to keep them in my head. I don't want to keep anything superfluous in my head. You follow me?
Gotcha.
Okay, so this has to do a lot with conception. The society doesn't want a lot of people around it that have no idea of how to act. And the father teaches the child how to act as a male. And the mother teaches it how to act other ways. Now conception, this has to do with the 3 avoidances. And now we're in a period of avoidance. Women don't want children. The majority. There's some that do. But the majority now, they want abortions. So if you don't have abortions, you're going to have infanticide, like where they did in Rome. So you can, or China, India, the killing of the little ones, you see. So if they don't have abortions one way, they just done it here. They found kid in a garbage bag.
Yeah, right.
They're killing them. During the time of the migration of the Okies, many Okies left their children at gas stations up Route 66. You know, it was famous for finding kids on the side. People left them. There was thousands of kids that were just homeless at the turn of the century, roaming gangs that would attack you. The oldest one being 10, 11 years old.
Jeez.
Hundreds of them, man. They'd fall on you like locusts. Oh, yeah, these gangs. Kids were working in the mills until the child labor laws came. I mean, what you're seeing now has always been. The thing is the issue that we're raising is the conception by a woman who has no husband. Right? She wants a baby. She's in love. She wants a baby from the lover. So we're not going to talk about conception. These are just the highlights of it.
Okay.
Nor do we want to talk about infection. That has to do with medical things. There's AIDS. People are making it and getting infection. The whole scam of things is really dangerous now. They're advertising on radios to wear a raincoat when you go out with a woman, to put rubber pads on your tongue, to watch out about deep kissing, not to hold too much because it might be transmitted through sweat. What they're saying is don't fool around with the women nor with men. Keep your pants zippered up. Go to church, take cold baths, eat a lot of saltpeter, keep yourself busy and don't think about it. That's what they're saying. In order to guard the infection. There has to be a whole change of life, isn't it? I mean, all these things require not to have it, not an abortion pill, but a change of attitudes. Conception has to do with a change of attitudes. If you're married and want children, that's fine. If you don't want children, you prevent it. Why abort them? Right? Infection, we have that. Our concern is detection. Detection. Knowing where I'm at all given times. That's all I want out of life is knowing where I'm at. Knowing where I'm at all given times. When I'm in bed, I'm in bed. I know where I'm at in bed. I'm there to sleep. If I can't sleep, I leave my bed because its purpose is not to screw in. Its purpose isn't to lollygag in. Its purpose is to sleep in, right? So I leave it when I can't sleep. I go somewhere else. I want to know where I'm at. And in detection, I want to know how the woman relates to me. It's fine whatever she does, as long as I know and can make up my mind as if I want to continue that contract that she's now placed in me. I'm not talking about contract theories between people. I'm saying the following, that I want to know what's going on, right? And I have nothing personal against women. I don't care what they do. They can do whatever they want to do, because you can't stop them once they want to do it. Yeah. Can you?
No, you can't.
You can't stop anybody from doing anything they want to do.
It just makes it worse. They do
yeah, I just want you to allow me to say I don't want to do that. Wonder if we were going out together somewhere and you said, wait a minute, I want to go to the liquor store to get some cigarettes, and while you were in there, it happened to me, so I'm not... They stuck up the liquor store and came out when I was sitting outside waiting. No, that's a fact. The guy that did that was a friend of ours, Red Graham. And me and Tiger, the guy that's in San Diego now, we were sitting in the car, and he said, I got to get a pack of cigarettes. And he went in the liquor store and stuck up to the liquor store. They didn't catch us. If they had caught us, we would have been accomplices. Yeah. We had a right to know what he was going to do. He said he was going to go buy cigarettes. And he went in there and stuck up the liquor store. We have a right to know. You have a right to know. You have a right to know that if your wife has a lover, he might be a jealous lover. Who is he? It might be that guy Chuck up there who took a fancy to your old lady, and he told you, after he showed you his trophies, he said, I'm going to fuck your missus. And you're not going to do nothing, because if you do, I'm going to bust your ass. You didn't study enough to tell him to go fuck yourself. You try and I'll break your fucking legs. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. I mean, that kind of intimidation can come in your life. You might not want that kind of intimidation. You might not want it. So it is appropriate. Not that all people are honest to each other. You don't have to be honest. Just don't do the thing that's required an explanation. Having to be honest means that you did something and now you're going to say what you did.
Oh, right. You have to reveal it.
I don't want to be honest. I really don't. I don't want to be honest, nor do I want to be deceitful. I don't want to be bothered with that. You understand? Yeah. I don't want to be bothered with morality. I don't want to be bothered with them kind of ethics. The rule book says that. That's what the rule book says. If I tell you, that's what it is. It's nothing else. Don't ever ask me. Don't ask me, are you sure? Once I told you, that was it. I'm sure when I told you. If you put me on a rack, I won't change my mind. Follow?
I understand, man.
Do you? Yeah. Now that requires work. It requires work. The male requires work.
To be able to back that up?
The male requires work in cleaning up his act. The male is full of malarkey like he's always been full of malarkey. All he's ever used a woman for is a sounding board. Something where he could ejaculate himself on. The squeamish, wimpy little guy, he's been sucking ass all day long, and he comes home and tells his wife, you know, who he is. He's a nothing. He's a piece of shit. And then he goes out and tries to find out why he is not getting along with women. It's not that he's not getting along with women. It's the women don't want him. It's as simple as that. Women haven't changed at all. Women are still women. They still love. They still obey. They still do. They'll die for a fucking male if they love him. The male's not going to die for the woman. Oh, shit. That stuff happens in operas, like Rodolfo did in La Boheme, where he burned up his manuscript to give her 2 seconds of warmth. Now, while she's dying, right? Oh, sure. These are romantic operas, you know, that man is not going to, he's not going, even in the classics. Even in the classics you see that. In Alcestis, he allowed the fucking wife to kill herself for him.
Right.
I mean, man has always been like that. He figures like this. The woman, the Okies up in the hills knew their wife died, they just reached over and grabbed the oldest daughter and brought her in and screwed her. All them guys up in the Ozarks, that's why they look so screwy, you know. You ever take a ride up there? These guys look mopped up, you know. Don't you remember the guy in that movie up in the, what the hell was the name of that film? I forgot it now. That little monkey was playing the banjo there.
Oh, Deliverance.
Deliverance.
Oh, sure.
Yeah, when they play the dual
sure, there you
guitar
go.
and banjo.
That's right.
Most of these guys look like that up in them hills. Oh, redneck? You're not talking about redneck. You're talking about an inbred neck. That's not a redneck you're talking about. That's an inbred neck from inbreeding. They just yanking their oldest daughter. Incestment is discovering it now. Them hillbillies up in the hill, that's all they ever did. They did. Do you know the first people I ever saw screwing was a guy named my class named Melvin. And he told me, he said, you got to see, he said, what's going on. My brother is fucking my sister. That's exactly what he told me. And we were in the 4th grade. He said, she's fucking my sister. 4th or 5th grade? 5th grade. And the projects up there, they were hillbillies. And we went over there and the bathroom window was open. And we stood on the box, and in came the sister, and she sat up against the sink, and in come the brother. They were 13, 14 years old. And he just got in there and screwed the living shit out of it, and the other little brother, who was with me, was looking in on it and jacking himself up, looking at his brother and his sister screwing.
Whoo!
That was my first introduction to the activities of people. I was fucking horrified, man. That was his sister. I said, are you sure that's your sister? And that you sure that's your brother?
Man.
Because we came from a world that something else is considered of your sister.
Yeah.
Your sister you raised to defend. Somebody insult your sister, you will kill him. Because if you didn't kill him, your mother and your father would disgrace you for not defending your sister. Mm-hmm. You understand? You're raised with a different ethic, right? You're raised with a different and this ethic here, the modern man has no ethic. How can you aspire to do your friend in on the job, to do as much as you can to get rid of him because he's competition so you can get his job? And do you think a mind that's been trained in that, has been trained in profit, has been trained to understand your loss is my gain if I can exploit it? Do you think that man is going to become some kind of emotional partner to a woman? At least women in the past had respect for men. They don't respect them now. And you know why they don't respect them? Because they are sickling the little bastard. For a long period we had the crying man. The guy who just cried at the drop of a hat. Right. His snots were running all over his face. His body just convulsed and went on like that. This guy moved into the homosexual world. These are the pseudo-homosexuals. The pseudo-homosexual is the guy who tried to play of being sensitive in the late 60s and 70s and couldn't make it. So, of course, after practicing that much, he ended up in the homosexual world. He is not a true homosexual. He's not a homosexual that was born with hormones of a homosexual, a man who can stand up and say, yes, I am of the third gender. I was born like that. Maybe God intended me to be like that. The rest of them are just dropouts from something else into that. They went so far into crying that they got the weeping willies about them. And you see these fags running up and down the street. These are the ones I call fags. I have respect for the ones that were born that way. It's just like anybody being born with a third arm or a 1 foot long cock or anything that is something different than what I have. I respect that. I respect the guy with 6 fingers. I respect the guy with 3 legs. I respect the guy who has no arms or no legs and crawls like a bug. I respect all these things because they're different than what I have. But I don't respect these slithering sliders who slide from one thing to another because they flunked at being a sensitive man. They became homosexuals, a sensitive homo. A sensitive homo. I've seen homosexuals, tough son of a bitches. But they were born with the desire inside of them to be hermaphrodites. They were born with a desire in them to be, they have it, and not only in them, but they are part of it. Somewhere along with them, they have a female sex organ, maybe up their ass, maybe somewhere. But that sex organ is like the soul. You can't point to it, but you know it's there, right? You know that the soul is there, that it exists. And these people just don't understand this. They slide in as little deviants, and these little deviants become, they were the crying deviant. These were the men that the women absolutely were disgusted with, and they said, if men are going to be like that, I'd rather have my baby out of a Petri dish. I'd rather have my ovum taken out and mixed with somebody's from a spur bank than have that son of a bitch on top of me fucking me. The women are sick of these bastards. That's why these guys now are running to people who tell them, that's all right, the women don't care for you. It doesn't make any difference. What do you mean? You're not a man until some woman cares for you.
Yeah, man.
I don't give a shit what you say. You've never reached a certain point in your life until a woman tells you, I'll die for you, you son of a bitch. Because you know you've earned that. You know you've done something so wonderful for somebody that they would die for you. Holy shit. That gives you a sense of responsibility that you've never had before. What you do with that now determines what you are. Right? You might say, oh, fuck you. Step on it. Kick her out. Fuck her over. That tells you about you. Right? It tells you how you treat somebody who cares for you. It tells you a lot. But unless you reach that point, there's nothing you know about yourself. How can you reach a point when somebody's telling you, oh, don't go out with women. It doesn't make any difference. Fuck the women. They're whores anyway. They're a bunch of sluts. They're this, they're that. And you know what it is? It's that slithering decade man. The man of the decade. The man who, the woman, really the woman don't know what she wants either, you know. The woman don't know what she wants out of a man. She wanted a sensitive man. So she said, what kind of sensitive man do you want? They asked her. And she said, well, these are people in the papers, and people who write magazines. People who write magazines articles. They heard a woman say, we want a sensitive man, a man who's sensitive to us, right? So the woman now is asked, well, what kind of sensitive man do you want? And she says, I want a guy who cries. So we went out through all the magazines, Cosmopolitan and newspapers and all that. Women are looking for the men who cry. That's the kind of man they want. They want somebody who's sensitive and feels and all this shit. So everybody went to seminars on how to cry and how to be sensitive. They did. And in these seminars, they told you, feel, cry, think of something right now and cry about it. Think of something really heart-rendering and fucking feel about it. Get with it. Learn how to cry. Wouldn't that be something if your brother was taught that? If your brother was taught that, right?
Yeah,
and your brother was taught that, how to go out there and feel for his father and all that shit. So these seminars had something to them, right? But now these guys went out there and they practiced it. So they'd go out with a chick and they try to fuck her and the chick wouldn't go for it and they start crying. They cried about anything. They cried about talking about their friendship with other people. They cried about her. They didn't know what to cry about. It's like when they started in the 60s to learn how to talk with your hands. In this country here, they didn't like the Mediterraneans. They knew that the nigger was a slave. So they didn't bother with him. They called him nigger. Cold Black Charlie. They called him anything. They knew he was a slave. They knew he was an untouchable. They didn't want to deal with him. But they didn't know what to do with they knew what the Orientals were out with them too. But they didn't know what to do with the Mediterraneans because from the Mediterranean came the source of Western intelligence, you know. They didn't know what to do with these people who were so fucking far advanced that most of the English, the Scotsmen and the Irish were inside of caves while these guys here were in their period of decadence, man. During the Hellenistic period, all the high points of philosophy had just already gone, and now they were in the annotating period. While these guys were in that, Britain in Latin means painted people. Oh yeah, so they wanted to make up for after becoming an empire. Of course, you couldn't say that you were savages when Caesar came. You couldn't say that. So what they started saying is that Stonehenge was some people way back then who had universities, and they were the founders of Cambridge and Oxford. But they were so far back that we've even lost recollection of them, and the sun sets here and this and that. So they try to make stock out of it in order to show that they came from something that was a little more enlightened, you know, than what they were. But they didn't like the Mediterraneans, man. They didn't like Greeks. They didn't like Southern Frenchmen. They didn't like Italians. New York was full of Italians. Well, they didn't like these people, man. Because these people now, they drank olive oil, and they smelled of olive oil and wine and garlic and onions. And they would tell you, you stink. Or you should smell of Pepsodent. You should go get a mouthwash. Oh, you smell of olive oil. Greasy Greeks, right?
Right.
That kind of attitude. And all of a sudden they find that olive oil is good, no cholesterol in it. You know, everybody's drinking olive oil. They're not going by the way of hearty meat and potato man. They're going in, you know, to quiches and shit like that. You see what I'm saying? Now the woman didn't know what kind of man she wanted. She saw guys on TV and she didn't know if she wanted them or guys in the soap opera. She didn't know. And she's out continuously giving demands as to what kind of man she wants. And the man, not knowing what it is, he starts developing constantly new seminars, new this, new that, in order to develop a new way of looking at things, a new way of being in it, right?